Hey, how's it going guys? Abu here, and welcome back to Starfield. Today we'll be visiting the Alpha Centauri System, home of the United Colonies and its capital planet Jemison. Alpha Centauri is one of the first star systems you visit in the game, and if you're a good constellation explorer, you'll quickly exit the system and head out into the stars on many a mission. I never stuck around and truly explored the system, so here we are, diving into the depths of the entire Alpha Centauri system, and I thought it would be fun to take you all along on the journey with me. We'll explore all 12 celestial bodies composed of 4 planets, 8 moons, plus all the flora and fauna and where to find them, planetary traits, resources, and so on, so that you can fully survey every planet or moon with the greatest of ease, making those credits from selling survey data easy as. Now quickly before we get started, feel free to head down to the video description below where you'll find my other Starfield videos along with some helpful information on the planets and moons, plus links to my social media accounts. Please check them out after the video as it really helps the channel grow. And barring that, if you like these types of videos, please hit that like button and please subscribe. We're on a mission for 500 subs and you could be part of our journey together. So with that being said, without further ado, let's do further into the Starfield with our planet guide to the Alpha Centauri System. The Alpha Centauri System is a binary star system with Ptolemy, located towards the southwestern side of the star map. Unsurprisingly, since this is one of the starter systems in the game, this is a level 1 rated system comprising of 4 planets and 8 moons, 2 of which have copious amounts of life, while the other 10 celestial bodies are lifeless, yet rich in resources. The Alpha Centauri system is the closest star system in proximity to Sol, which is one of the reasons why in Starfield lore it was first colonized as Earth began to lose its atmosphere. Don't worry, there won't be any spoilers in this video, so I won't go into any further detail about the lore here. Alpha Centauri is a G2 spectral class star, meaning that it has a yellowish color similar to that of our own sun. Yes, this is a real thing in astronomy, adding to Starfield's depth as a somewhat plausible facsimile to our own universe. First, we'll visit the closest planet to the Alpha Centauri star, its sun if you will, of Bondar. Bondar is a rocky planet with a hefty 1.84 gravity, of course gravity being in comparison to Earth's. Its temperature is inferno with a scalding 461 Fahrenheit, or roughly 240 Celsius, and an atmosphere of extra CO2. It has a powerful magnetosphere, contains no flora, no fauna, and is void of water. Bondar has 6 inorganic resources, 4 biomes, and 3 planetary traits. Starting with resources, there is chlorine, a common resource with 0.5 mass and a value of 6. Nickel, another common resource with a mass of 0.6 and a value of 10. Common lead, with a mass of 0.7 and a value of 10. Tungsten, which is an uncommon resource with a mass of 0.7 and a value of 16. Platinum, a rare resource with a mass of 0.8 and a value of 24. And lastly, xenon, an exotic resource with a mass of 0.8 yet a value of 27. Moving on to Bondar's 4 biomes, first up is the sandy desert. Combined with the planet's extra CO2 greenhouse effect-ish atmosphere, the brown-yellow sand seems to melt into the orange sky. While these may not be the pure majestic sand dunes that we'll come across later in the video, they do make for a nice ride around in your REV8. Keep an eye out for the rocks scattered across the barren landscape. And speaking of rocks, we'll quickly transition to the rocky desert biome, which, besides several generated points of interest, are quite uninteresting. Small mounds of rock pass for sightseeing in this bleakest of biomes. The hills biome offers more in the way of stone pillars, seemingly left over from millennia of erosion via wind or rain. The orange sky is truly impactful here and gives one the sense of loneliness that you might expect venturing out into the unknown on a rather empty planet at the closest point to the Alpha Centauri sun. Unexpectedly, this does give way to a truly breathtaking view in the final biome of Bondar, the volcanic biome. I came across a rather wonderful sunrise overlooking the valleys and depressions of this boiling and lifeless world. My curiosity was rather piqued by the volcano out in the distance, and in hopes of finding lava to build my outpost, I ventured over to the volcano and scaled it. Once at the volcano, instead of hot magma, I was given one of the most breathtaking sunrises in Starfield. Misty fog covering the volcanic valleys and hills while the bright morning sun melts the clouds away. This, folks, is why we love Starfield and adventuring into the unknown. Returning to the task at hand, you'll need to discover 3 traits in order to fully survey this planet. First up is the unmistakable charred ecosystem. Weird topless mushroom-like formations burst out of the ground, with steaming pits protruding here and there. Once you've scanned and moved on, you'll find a large shard jutting from the planet, highlighting the emerging tectonics trait. In order to settle here, you'll need to have a planetary habitation of 2, as you have a very hot, very carbonated, is that how you say it, atmosphere. In terms of time, 1 local hour equals 40 minutes universal time, while waiting a full 24 hours local time eats away about 16 hours of universal time. Once you've surveyed the entire planet, you'll be rewarded with survey data that has a value of 9,000 credits. Now Bondar has 2 moons, Grissom and Curbeam, both of which have inferno temperatures and are fully covered in craters. They both have copious amounts of helium-3, with Grissom paired with iron and Curbeam paired with aluminum. First, we'll travel to Grissom, which is a rocky moon with a low 0.29 gravity. There is no water, no atmosphere, and of course no flora or fauna. Helium-3 is spread throughout the moon, a common inorganic resource with 0.5 mass and a value of 5 credits. Iron is also found in abundance, and this common resource has a 0.6 mass and a value of 8. There are no traits on Grissom, making it even easier to survey, and like I mentioned earlier, it is fully covered in craters. If you choose the right landing spot, you may be rewarded with a proper spacefaring view of barren rocky valleys, steep crater ridges, and views of both Bondar and its sister moon Curbeam. As far as one-shot landing challenges go, I'm pretty happy with this one. And before we move on to the sister moon of Curbeam, I will mention that in Grissom's atmosphere, you can find the Deimos armored transport ship, where a copy of the magazine Vanguard Space Tactics, issue number 4, is waiting for you. Fully surveying Grissom is good for survey data with 4,500 credits. Traveling over to Curbeam, you find a moon very similar to Grissom, albeit with a single trait to discover. This barren rock has an inferno temperature void of atmosphere, magnetosphere, water, flora, or fauna. It has a gravity of 0.18 and 2 resources, the aforementioned helium-3 and the common inorganic resource of aluminum. While aluminum has a mass of 0.5 and a value of a paltry 7 credits, it is extremely valuable in terms of building habs and outposts. Many of the buildings and equipment you'll want to build either at your outpost or even on your ship will require aluminum, and it's a good idea to start stocking up on this early in the game. Landing on the edge of the dark side of Curbeam is a joy to say the least. Rocky archways illuminated by views of the Alpha Centauri star lead one to imagine what it would truly be like to explore a vast and unknown world. Bondar and Grissom floating lazily in the seemingly endless sky, surrounded by the glow of the Milky Way galaxy, stretching across the entirety of the heavens. This is truly one of my favorite spots in the entire system. To fully survey Curbeam, you'll need to locate the Boiled Seas trait. Some brittle coral remnants are all that's left of a once vast sea, now evaporated and long gone on this hot and barren moon. Once discovered, you can claim your survey data worth 9,000 credits. Moving on to our next planet of Gagarin, named after the first man to officially travel into outer space, famous Soviet cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin. Gagarin is a rocky planet with gravity of 0.89 Earth's gravity and an atmosphere high in oxygen. It has a powerful magnetosphere which shields its 5 flora and 8 fauna along with the minor city of Gagarin Landing. Biological water is abundant, along with 1 planetary trait and 4 resources. These include common inorganic resources, such as water with a mass of 0.5 and a value of 4, lead with a mass of 0.7 and a value of 10, chlorine with a mass of 0.5 and a value of 6, and lastly, the uncommon inorganic resource of chlorosilines, with a mass of 0.6 and a value of 14. Let's first talk about Gagarin Landing, usually the first stop spacefarers land when traveling to Gagarin. The minor city is home to several vendors and side quests, along with playing a significant role in Barrett's unique companion quest. Again, no spoilers will be addressed here, and as I may be making a lore video about the former mining colony shortly, let me know in the comments if that's something you might be interested in. Once the mines were abandoned, it became a manufacturing hub for the United Colonies and the production of battle mechs. After the colony war with the Freestar Collective ended in the year 2311, the Armistice Agreement was signed. This agreement outlawed the production of battle mechs, and Gagarin Landing's economy collapsed, with its population seeking work elsewhere and the city falling into dilapidation. The colony's luck may be turning, however, as by the time of Starfield in the year 2330, robotic manufacturer Arcmite is entering the city, as are Centauri Mills and perhaps several other off-world corporations looking to take advantage of first-rate infrastructure at dirt-cheap prices. Again, let me know in the comments if you'd be interested into some deep dive into the lore of this and other locations in Starfield. Getting back to our tour of the Alpha Centauri System, the planet Gagarin has 4 biomes, which again has heaps of water to build around. First up is the wetlands biome, distinguished by its long waterways and rivers, usually culminating in lakes and branching out again. There are plenty of unique places to build your outpost, between waterways, at forks in the rivers, you name it. Explore and find your perfect spot. Now the similar swamp biome features as much or more water. However, on Gagarin, these are usually pooled in large and smaller lakes. I found plenty of islands in the biome, which can make for some large outposts, using corridors as bridges to connect habs over waterways. Moving on to the rocky desert, this Arizona-inspired biome is the opposite of the swamp and wetlands. Dry to the bone, with sun-beat stones and brush along with rocks and jagged stones dotting the landscape. The last biome is the ocean with 2 unique fauna. However, we'll come to that in a minute. Let's first discuss the planet's only trait, the coralline landmass. This beauty of a trait springs out of the dry desert like an ancient oasis, with spongy coral seemingly pulling from a pool of water from deep below the Earth's smoldering and sun-soaked crust. Fancy a dip, but keep an eye out for the dangerous fauna that we'll cover shortly. In terms of life on Gagarin, we'll discuss the flora first. Bitter golden glow provides the structural resource and is found in the rocky desert biome. The burnt poka leaf provides fiber and is also found in the rocky desert. The swamp bottle root is found in both the swamp and wetlands biomes and provides the all-important sealant, especially important when building your outposts. Sweetwater cactus can be found in the swamp and rocky desert and provides adhesive, another important component in crafting spacesuits, weapons, and items in your outpost or your ship. Lastly, the velvet bloom is found in the wetlands and provides fiber. Now let's come face to face with the fauna of Gagarin. 8 critters in total roam this planet. Beginning with the apex dust devil exorunner, these guys inhabit the swamp, rocky desert, and wetlands. They provide antimicrobial and pack a punch in combat. The flocking coral crawler geophage is a strange-looking fellow inhabiting the swamp, rocky desert, and wetlands. These provide nutrients. The flocking shardhopper geophage is like a giant toxic cricket, with toxin available for harvest when you slay these guys inhabiting the swamp, rocky desert, and wetlands. Trilobite scavengers are tricky to find, but for those looking to harvest spice, you'll need to search the swamps, wetlands, or rocky deserts. Taking to the skies, you can find the herding coral bucket filter and pack prong winged singbat in each of the rocky desert and swamp wetland biomes. While they aren't usually aggressive, you can jump aboard your ship and load up your favorite automatic weapon and spray and pray for these guys, making farming XP quite easy. With that being said, travel out to the ocean in the coast regions of Gagarin and open your scanners toward the sea. Here you'll find both the sea hag, an ugly critter worthy of the name, and the sunfish filter, bright and as beautiful as it gets in the starfield. I just wish there was a way to raise these guys in our outposts. In terms of timekeeping, 1 local hour on Gagarin is equal to 33 minutes universal time, with 24 hours local amounting to 13 hours UT. As a reward for all your hard scanning work, you'll be rewarded with the Gagarin survey data, worth 24,000 credits. Now let's head to one of the most populated planets in Starfield, the capital of the United Colonies, Jemison. Home to New Atlantis, Jemison is named after May Carroll Jemison, the first African-American woman to travel in space. It is an Earth-like, rocky planet with gravity slightly below that of our homeworlds at 0.91. It has a temperate climate, standard O2, a strong magnetosphere, safe water, and abundant flora and fauna of 8 and 9 respectively. It has 5 resources, 3 planetary traits, and is orbited by its single moon, Kurtz. Resource-wise, Jemison has plenty of common inorganic resources, such as water, which we have discussed previously, lead, chlorine, argon, which has a mass of 0.5 and a value of 5, and the uncommon inorganic resource chlorosilenes. The futuristic city of New Atlantis, as mentioned previously, is the capital city of the United Colonies, perhaps the most powerful faction in the game. Home to the political and military operations of the UC, the Constellation headquarters titled The Lodge can also be found here. You'll be visiting Jemison time and again as you start each new game and New Game Plus. However, again, I won't be giving any spoilers away here. New Atlantis is the biggest city in Starfield, and according to Bethesda Game Studios game director Todd Howard, it's the biggest city they've ever built. That's quite impressive when you take into account the Hold capitals in the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim or the bustling Diamond City in Fallout 4. However, I digress. The quality of life updates in Starfield has seen city maps play a greater role in traversing this massive city. New Atlantis is so large, in fact, that it even has its own transportation system, the NAT, short for New Atlantis Transit, and is made up of several districts. These include the Commercial District, the Mass District, Spaceport, and the Well. The latter is an underground city beneath the city, with plenty of vendors and missions, which are well worth checking out. See what I did there? Deep breath, guys. While you've most likely already visited the Lodge and met the entire Constellation crew, one point of interest that I'll mention is the Eye, space station located in orbit. Constellation member and ex-pirate Vladimir Saul scouts temples for you to find from his perch there, and for those looking for a fitness boost, make sure to check out the gym on the space station for a skill perk magazine. Now heading out of New Atlantis and into the wilderness of Jemison, the first biome we'll venture into is the deciduous forest. This landscape is full of large trees, the largest of which has canopies you can stand upon with a boost from your trusty jetpack. Large boulders dot the landscape, providing cover from charging enemies, and resources and plenty of life inhabit many a corner of this lush landscape. Moving towards the coniferous forest, we get a landscape reminiscent of the primordial Midwest of the United States of America, with coniferous trees standing high above the landscape while creatures of many shapes and sizes scatter about below their imposing trunks. Boulders maintain their presence in this biome, further offering platforms to fire upon unsuspecting creatures when on a hunt. The coniferous forest gives way to the mountain biome, which, true to its name, contains impressive ridges leading up to the highest of peaks. The landscape remains boulder-filled, but is void of the lush greenery of the forests, instead replaced by sparse bush plants interspersed with farmable flora. While it may appear bleak and empty, this is actually the region on Jemison with the most amount of flora and fauna life for those with their scanners handy. The last of the 5 biomes on Jemison is by far the most photogenic, the frozen mountains. Believe it or not, this is only the second best sunset I saw while recording for this video. However, I accidentally deleted the first one, so we'll have to make do. The perfect snow-covered ground covers a vast landscape, only giving way to a majestic mountain far off in the distance. What appears to be pine trees springing up from the landscape each appear as if they are tiny hands grasping at the ever-descending sun behind the distant peaks on the mountain. Another sight that signifies what this game is really all about. Now let's move on to Jemison's trio of traits. The ecological consortium is one of the easier traits to spot, as jagged spiked mountains protrude from the rifts in the valley, giving away their distinct appearance. Grab these with your scanner, and you're ready to move on to the second trait, the global glacial recession. Located in the warmer biomes, the global glacial recession features a massive boulder balancing atop some small rocks with large vents spewing forth boiling hot steam from the interior of the planet. Brilliant blue ice dots the area while you loot the dung piles and mow down the fauna in your quest for a 100% survey. Lastly are the sentient microbial colonies, easier to spot due to their distinctive red bulges and puddles of suspicious liquid. And with that, we are ready to move on to the flora of Jemison. Counting 8 in total, we will start with the Aurora palm. Its distinct red leaves signal its toxic resource, and these pretties can be found in the deciduous forest and mountain regions. The boreas root are known for their arched appearance and can be found in the mountains, frozen mountains, and coniferous forest regions. Hit these up if you're in the need of fiber. The broadleaf rose offers nutrients and is found in the mountains and coniferous forests. Cliff laurel have 3 leaves, providing nutrients and are found in every biome. Cold cave nettle is located in the mountains and frozen mountains and provide toxin. Glossy stickweed are found in both the deciduous and coniferous forests along with the mountains. They provide fiber. Spiral creeper presents as large bushes and provide toxin. Look for these in the deciduous and coniferous forests. Lastly, the tufted snow willow are found everywhere except in deciduous forests. They provide metabolic agent. In terms of animal life, Jemison is flush with more than just some snooty UC citizens hobnobbing around New Atlantis. First up of the fauna is the apex crocodont, a dangerous velociraptor-like running creature with a proper beak. These guys love a good scrap, provide spice, are found in frozen mountains and coniferous forests. The apex parrot hawk can be found everywhere and makes for a great sport hunting target for when you're trying to hone in your sights on your newly acquired sniper rifle. Beetle grazers are harder to spot, however they contain metabolic agent and are found wandering the frozen mountains and coniferous forests. The tiny cara snail scavenger scurry around the deciduous forest and mountain biomes and provide cosmetic. The peaceful flocking seabat geophage is found in the deciduous forest and mountains and provide metabolic agent. Found in packs, as their name suggests, the herding cutterhead herbivore are quite defensive. Taking these out provide nutrient, and you'll find them in abundance in the deciduous forest and mountains. The herding reef walker scavenger is one of my favorite looking 4-legged creatures in the Starfield game so far. From its duck bill to its piped back to its flaring tail, this entire creature is what I like to see in my alien life. Providing toxin, these guys are found in the frozen mountains and coniferous forest. Hunting tusk frogs have 6 legs, 6 eyes, and are hyper-aggressive, which is ironic because they provide the sedative resource when harvesting. Find them in the deciduous forest and mountains. And last but not least, the pack coral bug looks amazing. A sunflower head on top of nightmare fuel 8 legs and a large size, oh my. These guys have the membrane resource and are found in the deciduous forest and mountain biomes. They're quite quick, so be sure to fire when they stop and posture up. As it pertains to time, 1 local hour on Jemison equates to 2 hours and 5 minutes universal time. Resting for 24 hours LT converts to 50 hours UT. Finish your survey of Jemison for survey data worth 40,000 credits. Moving on to Jemison's soul moon of Kurtz, you'll find a barren rock with a paltry 0.11 gravity. The temperature is temperate, however there is no atmosphere or magnetosphere, nor are there any planetary traits. There is no water, no flora, no fauna to discover on this moon. However, there are 2 resources which are both found in abundance in the Alpha Centauri System. These are helium-3 and aluminum, both important yet common inorganic resources. The only biome on Kurtz is craters, and the views are typically what you'd expect. Fine rock covers the surface of the moon, while crater ridges and ancient peaks dot the landscape. 1 hour LT on Kurtz lasts a whopping 13 hours and 30 minutes UT, making it one of the longer waiting moons in Starfield. This is a perfect spot to grab some shut-eye to reset any vendor's cap stash. A 24-hour LT wait equates to 323 hours and 37 minutes UT, well over 13 days. Complete your scan of Kurtz and you'll receive survey data worth 4,500 credits. Heading further away from the star of Alpha Centauri, we arrive at its sole gas giant, the brilliantly ringed orange beauty of Olivas. This gas giant has a gravity of 1.34, a frozen temperature, H2 atmosphere, a strong magnetosphere, and no flora or fauna, water, resources, or land to land on. As it's a gas giant, you won't be able to land on Olivas. You will only be able to scan it to receive the Olivas survey data, which is worth 4,500 credits. More importantly for us on our journey, this big old beauty has 5 moons, each of which we can land on and explore. Olivas' first moon we'll explore is Lovell. This frozen rock contains 0.08 gravity, has a frozen temperature, and contains heavy metal water. No flora, fauna, atmosphere, or magnetosphere exists on Lovell, yet there is 1 trait and 3 resources. These resources include the uncommon inorganic resource of cobalt, with a mass of 0.6 and a value of 12, common resource nickel, which has a mass of 0.6 and a value of 10, and water, which we've covered here several times already. The only biome on Lovell are frozen craters. This harsh, frozen landscape is buttressed by some stunning views of Olivas from the crater floors, and depending on where you decide to land on the moon, you can get the gas giant from which it orbits to fill up a substantial part of the sky. Time-wise, 1 local hour on Lovell lasts for 43 minutes universal time, with 24 hours LT lasting for 17 hours UT. Survey data for Lovell has a price tag of 4,500 credits. Next up is the moon Voss. Voss is a rocky moon with a gravity of 0.41. It has a frozen temperature, which makes sense because these moons are located so far away from the Alpha Centauri star. Its atmosphere is thin N2. It has no magnetosphere, flora, or fauna. Voss has chemical water, 1 trait, and a whopping 8 resources, making it one of the most resource-rich celestial bodies in the system. Common inorganic resources, such as water, nickel, lead, and uranium, dot the planet. Cobalt, an uncommon inorganic resource, along with vanadium, a rare resource that has a mass of 0.7 and a value of 24, can also be found. Tungsten, with a mass of 0.7 and a value of 16, can be found here along with the exotic resource dysprosium. The latter has a mass of 1.4 and a value of 56. One point of interest I'll mention is that in Voss's orbit, you can find Star Station RE939, and I recommend stopping by on your journey. Just make sure you're heavily armed. Dropping in on the moon, the first biome we'll take a look at is the sandy desert biome. Dunes dot the landscape, as do small rocks and stones. The rocky desert more than makes up for its namesake, as its dull, brown sand and plethora of stones seem to blend into the bleak, brown sky. Small, standing stone poles break up the smooth surface, making for difficult trekking or driving with your Rev 8. The hills and mountain biomes aren't anything special, so we won't waste our time there. Train on Voss are the sludge pools, aptly named for their sludgy and poolish appearance. You can spot these easily by looking for the vents that shoot boiling hot steam up into the atmosphere. For a time check, 1 hour local time equates to 3 hours and 45 minutes of universal time. 24 hours LT translates into 90 hours UT. Survey data for Voss is valued at 9,000 credits. The next stop on our journey is the moon of Hawley. Hawley is a rocky moon with 0.5 gravity, frozen temperature, a thin M atmosphere, no magnetosphere, flora, fauna, or water. There is 1 planetary trait and 5 resources. These include uncommon inorganic cobalt, common water, uranium, nickel, and lead. This hazy planet has a sandy desert biome that is as orange as it gets. The brownish-orange sand blasts brilliantly into the sky, so much so that you can barely make out the massive gas giant Olivas on the horizon. Heading to the rocky desert biome, the sunset creates a horizon that gets off a metallic look. Perhaps it's just me, however you can always do worse. Just make sure if you want to build an outpost here, you get plenty of resources in your camp. As for time, 1 local hour equates to 4 hours and 49 minutes universal time, with 24 local hours converting to almost 116 universal. Survey data for Hawley is priced at 9,000 credits. The penultimate celestial body of the system, famous for base building due to its beauty and natural resources, is the moon Zamka. The rocky moon has a gravity of 0.42, has a frozen temperature, thin M atmosphere, no magnetosphere, flora, or fauna, yet it does have chemical water. 2 planetary traits are found on Zamka, and it is tied for the most resource-rich body in the Alpha Centauri System with 8 resources. Zamka's resources include iron, helium-3, nickel, uranium, water, vanadium, copper, and lastly cobalt. The first biome we'll take a look at are the craters, which are nothing special until you look up and see the glorious planet Olivas hovering in the night sky above. Depending on where you land, the angle of Olivas can be on the horizon or directly above the spacefarer. The sandy desert is quite pure as well, and the bright orange-colored sky is giving off some proper Fallout 4 vibes. The storm crater trait is noticeable in the sandy desert due to its dark black color and radically different texture. The crystalline matrix is also hard to miss as well, as giant black crystals jut out of the frozen plains and are quite apparent from a distance away. As for the time, 1 local hour on Zamka is equivalent to 2 hours and 6 minutes of universal time, with 24 hours equaling just over 50 universal time. Zamka's survey data is rated at 9,000 credits. And now we head to the final celestial body in the Alpha Centauri system, the moon of Chawla. If you're still with us, you are an absolute legend. This ice moon has a frozen temperature, 0.43 gravity, a thin CO2 atmosphere, and is void of a magnetosphere, flora, or fauna. There is water in the form of heavy metal, and there are 3 resources that can be mined from Chawla. These are uncommon inorganic resource benzene, which has a weight of 0.6 and a value of 19, and common resources such as argon and water. The only biome which exists on Chawla is the Frozen Dunes biome, a landscape so bleak and barren that the flat stones that dot the sandy surface seem absolutely lonely in their abundance, and amidst the sheer blackness of space, 1 local hour here is equivalent to 16 hours and 26 minutes universal time. This measures 394 hours and 31 minutes UT for over 24 local hours. This is nearly 17 UT days, the longest in the entire system. Chawla's survey data is rated at 4,500 credits. And this concludes our tour of the Alpha Centauri system. Thank you so much for joining me. I know it was a long one, and I hope it was worth your while. We have explored all 4 planets and 8 moons for a total of 12 celestial bodies. We have landed on and examined each of Jemison and Gagarin's otherworldly flora and fauna, as well as scoped out the cities of New Atlantis and Gagarin Landing. I hope you enjoyed our journey into the stars together, and if you like this video, please smash that like and subscribe button to help out our channel. This video took quite some time to put together, so your support is always appreciated. And as always, feel free to leave me your feedback or questions in the comments below, and our social channels are in the video description along with some helpful information regarding this video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and see you next time out in the Starfield.